Esports are finally at the Olympics, which means I just have to pick a game and get practicing to win a gold medal.
Chess, Gran Turismo 7, Just Dance, Virtual Taekwondo, Zwift, Virtual Regatta, WBSC, E-Baseball Power Pros, Tennis Clash, and Tic-Tac-Bow are the video game lineup for the Olympics of 2024.
This is actually what sports players think video games are.
It's one of the most out-of-touch things I've ever seen. It's a lineup of shitty mobile games, virtual forms of sports that are already at the Olympics, Just Dance, and Gran Turismo 7 and chess. Normally this would be an exaggeration, but the meeting would have had to have gone like this. The lineup makes no sense. Chess is fine and honestly deserves it. Gran Turismo isn't traditionally played as an esport, but it technically could be. But the rest don't make any sense. Virtual Taekwondo and Zwift are just simulations of their sport, and they both take away the most interesting aspect of their sport spectator-wise. With Zwift taking away the spectacle of watching someone clear great distances on a bike, and Taekwondo takes away the aspect of human pain. Tennis Clash, E-Baseball, and Virtual Regatta are all just watered-down versions of existing sports, none of them designed with genuine competitive play in mind. And Tic-Tac-Bow is a Mario Party minigame with 100 downloads on the Google Play Store. And Just Dance.
Genuinely, how is this going to work?
How do you pick a song? Are songs with different dancers allowed? What if your controller is faulty? What if you accidentally bump the other player's controller? Did the Olympics get the right to play those songs live on broadcast? What about people who don't speak the same language? How are they going to pick a song? How sweaty will the players be at the end of the competition?
Training is going well.
I don't think they're going to ask any of these questions if I'm being honest, so we'll end up with one big mess.
Which is what this whole event is going to be, and it's probably going to result in esports never coming back to the Olympics.
People are not happy about this, which is obvious, and people are voicing that opinion on social media. But how is the International Olympic Committee going to interpret that? The committee is made up mostly of older government representatives who don't really understand why people want esports at the Olympics. The discussion around whether esports can be considered sports has been around for a while. People against it argue a sport is about physical exertion, while the other argues the meaning of a sport is actually competition. Now, the committee wants to satisfy both sides of the argument, and they need to find a way to do so. So they think they've come up with a compromise by putting sports video games in the Olympics rather than actual esports. But when gamers inevitably hate it, they'll just think,
I guess these basement-dwelling, oversized, irate gamers are just impossible to work with. Let's never do this again.
And then we won't see esports at the Olympics for like 40 years. And that's only what they'll think from how it starts. As it continues and as things go wrong, which they likely will since they don't seem to care, they'll just end up hating esports more and more as it goes on. The first thing that'll happen is when qualifiers start, it'll be riddled with cheaters. The number of people who think it would be hilarious to win an Olympic gold medal in video games by cheating will be so high. So tons of people will cheat, and the Olympics will have no idea how to stop them because they're shitty mobile games. The developers probably didn't program in anti-cheating measures, and if they did, there will definitely be people out there who will find ways around them. So every sport with open qualifiers besides chess and maybe Gran Turismo will consist of cheaters. Reports will come out in the news of cheaters winning the Olympics, and the Olympic Committee will have to make a decision on what to do about it. They'll either have to ban whoever they can and change who qualifies, drop the sports entirely, or the most likely outcome, ignore it, like the sounds your parents are making in the other room. To the Olympic Committee, doing anything about the cheaters would be a waste of time. And after all, they're just silly games. Who actually cares about this competition? They'll get tons of shit over it, and the whole competition becomes an even bigger joke online. Then when the actual event comes around, it'll become even funnier. Some people won't show up because they cheated in the qualifiers without planning ahead, and they won't be able to actually go to Singapore. And plenty more won't practice their games because they don't care. So if anyone actually cares about watching the competition, it won't go well either.
This whole event actually appeals to nobody.
After it's all over, the Olympics will be so ashamed of this failure, they'll never talk about it. People online will joke about it for a bit, but people will still be disappointed by how poorly it all went down. In 10 years, it becomes a trivia fact that video games were at the Olympics one time, and maybe in the far future, they'll try again, but it won't be anytime soon. I've heard it said that this could be a test event so that they can see how esports at the Olympics works. This very likely isn't the case, and if so, they're setting it up for failure. If they actually wanted to test it and understood it, I think they would have just included a couple of the easier to run esports. Chess was a good one to include for a test like that, and then maybe get a quick shooter game or fighting game in there, and it would be a pretty good test. You'd be able to judge how people react and how well the competition would go. But it's clear that they were not trying to test this out. They were just trying to satisfy people people in a way that does not satisfy them. And even if it is a test, it makes esports look like a joke to the general public. This event will ruin esports being taken seriously for a while. And with the current downturn that esports has been taking with all the shutdowns and layoffs, it's going to be a very dark couple of years for esports.
It almost seems like the Olympic Committee is trying to set up esports for failure.
That must have been the plan from the start. They were tired of us basement-dwelling, oversized, irate gamers complaining about how we wanted our gamer games.
They think they can get rid of us basement-dwelling, oversized, irate gamers, but we can't let them. And we will exactly to win.
Come on now, race! Everybody supersonic racing. Try to keep your feet right on the ground. When you're supersonic racing, there's no time to look around. We're just supersonic racing, running to the point of no return. Everybody supersonic racing. Come on, let the fire burn.
I'm not improving fast enough. I need to go even further.